Hello, everyone. Welcome to TBH Circle podcast. Firstly, I would like to take this moment to thank everyone who has joined us here. I appreciate you guys taking out time and joining in. Right? A little bit about myself. My name is Anisha, and I am head of operations here. I take care of operations here. Today, we will have an enlightening session about customer excellence and revenue management. And I am honored to welcome our esteemed guests who have taken the time to join us tonight. So, a little bit about him. He has 25 years of experience, and at the moment, general manager of general manager of Aurika, Mumbai. He comes with an expertise in customer excellence and also in the area of revenue management. So, welcome, Harkaran Singh, sir.
Thank you. Thanks, Anisha. Thank you so much.
Right. So, I know this will be a very good session, and everyone here is excited to take part in this. So, to begin with, I'm sure you have so much rich amount of experience, and we are excited to deep dive into the topic. But
Oh,
you can take some time and introduce yourself, a little bit about yourself to everyone. That would be great, sir.
Anisha, I lost you.
Hello, am I
I think
audible?
yes, you're audible now. Yes,
Right.
I lost you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was asking if you could introduce yourself and let us know who you are, what you do, where you come from. That would be great.
Great. So, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for inviting me, TBH Circle, and everybody whoever's attending this. So, my name is Harkaran. I represent Aurika Hotels. Aurika is the luxury segment or the luxury brand of Lemon Tree Hotels. Our parent company is Lemon Tree Hotels. I've been with the company for over a year now. Joined Aurika Mumbai Sky City in the pre-opening stage. Aurika Mumbai Sky City is a 669 room property, which is the largest hotel in the country in terms of the inventory size. We launched this massive hotel last year in October, on October 5th. And I'm happy to let you know that the hotel's already made some great inroads into the market and positioning for itself, and become one of the most preferred hotels in Mumbai by securing number one position on TripAdvisor amongst almost 1,500 hotels, well-established hotels in the market of Mumbai. Yeah. So prior to that, I've joined the hotel in the pre-opening stage, and before that, I have been associated with almost 14 years with Hyatt Hotels Corporation. Prior to joining Aurika by Lemon Tree, I was the general manager at Hyatt Regency Dehradun. That was again a pre-opening hotel. Hyatt Regency Dehradun is the largest hotel at Uttarakhand with 263 rooms. And I was happy to be a part of that hotel in the pre-opening stage, where I opened the hotel along with my colleagues. We positioned it really well, and we positioned it to be a luxury hotel, adding into the luxury MICE and wedding segment. And I ran it for about a year and a half and then shifted gears. So I think, yeah, that experience was great because the market of Dehradun, market of Uttarakhand is very, very buoyant in terms of tourism. But I think we, as Hyatt, when we were there, when we opened the hotel, it was a different experience altogether because we had to market Dehradun as a destination first for people to come and start visiting that city and consider that city for their luxury events and weddings and MICE. So I think the team did very well, and the hotel positioned itself to be the one of the most, I would say, most highest grossing ADR hotel amongst the Hyatt portfolio in India, doing almost an ADR of 20,000 rupees. Prior to that, I had a stint at Hyatt Raipur as a general manager for 3 years, where I had to relaunch the brand. And again, happy to share with you all that, again, the team I was with did a great job there by positioning it as a luxury boutique hotel and becoming the most preferred hotel in the city of Raipur. Prior to that, I was looking after operations at Hyatt Regency Calcutta, there for about 3.5 years. And before that, heading revenue and front office at Hyatt Hyderabad. I started my Hyatt journey at Hyatt Pune, looking after cluster Hyatt Pune, Hyatt Hyderabad, and Hyatt Bangalore as a revenue manager, and then moved into operations and looking after revenue from Hyderabad. Prior to joining my Hyatt journey, I think I was for about 2 years, 2 months with Ideas Revenue Optimization. Ideas is the world's largest business analytics company. So I was doing revenue management for international hotels because those hotels were a part of us, had taken this Ideas revenue management software. So I was handling about close to 600 hotels in my account, which was mainly in Southwest Asia, Hyatt Corporation being one of it as well. That's how I got selected with the company and joined them as a revenue manager, cluster revenue manager. Prior to being in Ideas, I started my career with Marriott in front office operations with Goa Marriott Resorts, and then getting into the business hotel and launching the first courtyard in the country at Courtyard Marriott Chennai. So yeah, that's about me, and happy to be here amongst all of you in towards and talking about hoteliering and answering your queries and interacting with you all.
Definitely, very
Yeah,
interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that, Harkaran sir.
pleasure.
Um, we would also love to know if you could walk us through your career journey, how you started, your a little bit about your education, how you came into this hospitality industry and everything.
So yeah, so I was never, I would say, never thought as a career, hotels as a career when I completed my BA. And after that, I think my father, I mean, he's no more now, but my father was venturing into a hotel business. And that's how I got into hotel school, joined the hotel school, did my hotel school from Middlesex, finished that. And meanwhile, I think my father's business proposition with somebody they were opening a hotel that fizzled out, but I continued my journey in hotels because I loved my time during the training period. And I wanted to further push myself to understand how well can I acquaint myself in that industry. But yeah, I think then there's no looking back because when I started my first job in Marriott, I loved what I did, and so be it. I think everybody accepted me as a hotelier in my family because I was the first one to work in a hotel and rather get into a professional corporation because my I come from a business family. So that was about me in terms of my hotel school. Prior to that, I did my BA in English honors in from Delhi and did my schooling from Chandigarh. And I hail from Chandigarh otherwise. And being a hotelier, I think I've been with Hyatt for 14 years, but been 14 years in 5 different cities. So happy to move around and experience new properties, new markets, and gain my knowledge and experience and share the same wherever I go. Family wise, I'm married, happily married, have only one wife, don't intend to have any more, and no kids. Very happy, both of us, and that's what it is. Yeah.
Nice. It's very, very beautifully articulated. Thank you so much, sir. One wife, right? Of course. Okay.
Yes.
So I understand it must be challenging from where you started and where you are, like holding a position of general manager to where you started, right? What are the challenges that you faced and what are the lessons that you learned throughout your journey? If you can throw some light onto that.
Sure. Thanks for the question, but I think hoteliering as a journey, I think a lot of you all and everybody would say that it's a career choice. I wouldn't say it's a career choice. I would say hoteliering is more of a lifestyle choice. If you accept being a hotelier, you have to accept the lifestyle which a hotelier lives. Everybody needs to understand a hotelier works when the entire world celebrates. Those are the special moments when people go out for a hotel to dine out, party out. That's the time when hoteliers are working. So it actually becomes a lifestyle choice for people who take up hoteliers. So for me, I think I took that up and I loved what I did. And I think what drives you and towards success is only your passion. And for you, if you like what you do, that's what drives you to move up the ladder as well. So when I started as an associate. And I think, yes, I was lucky enough to pick up elevations very fast. I think I got promoted almost twice in about 15 months of my career when I started as an associate. So I grew very fast. I became a front office manager at the age of 25, and in Hyatt. And I think I was one of the youngest ones in the company in the area I was operating in. I was there for about 5 years as a front office and revenue manager, and post that moved to Calcutta as director of rooms. I think what drives you, as I said, is your passion and is the understanding of hotel business, that you have to give those experiences to the guests, and uh, be along with the team, be along with everybody to create those experiences, and realizing that it's not only you, it is the team together who extends this. So it's not you alone, it's basically the team who extends all that, and team works towards the success of the hotel, and which of course you also become successful in driving that. Yeah.
Very well said, sir. Very well said. I cannot agree more on that. Talking about teams, I believe you get a chance, like you have young professional and youth also in your team that you work with, right, on daily basis. Is there any particular challenge that you face with, like, say, young professionals, or is something different about young professionals from where compared to?
So, Anisha, your question with regards to young professional, do you think my gray beard makes you look that I'm old? I'm not that
No,
old.
no, I mean to say
Don't worry,
you're
I'm not that
seasoned.
old. I'm pretty young as well myself.
I know, sir. You look very young. I'm sorry, that does
Thank
not.
you. I'm I,
That,
I'm comforted now when you say I'm young. So when you say that, I think yes, today everybody needs young blood, and it's not a question of young or old. As I started my conversation and told you, hotel line or hotel business is a lifestyle choice. If somebody is joining, and that's what I probably tell all my colleagues, whenever you join a hotel industry, don't take it as a career choice, take it as a lifestyle choice, right? So when somebody comes in and understands that, then it's a cakewalk. I think the challenge happens when there is a misalignment of thoughts, there's a misalignment of expectations. One has to set expectations very clear with the young millennials and the young friends who are joining hotel industry. Everybody wants to grow very fast, we all want to grow very fast, right? But it's actually understanding the hotel business and being passionate about what you do. Successful automatically follow. So it's about that. And I think the most challenging thing we as hoteliers probably face is that when you don't start at a very high pay grade. So I think that's a very big deterrent for a lot of young millennials and the young workforce which is coming into hotels. Because obviously, as I said, everybody wants to grow very fast. Everybody wants to live up to the social peer, live up to the great lifestyle which you have today. Enjoy the luxuries of life, enjoy having a great iPhone in hand, enjoy wearing some good clothes. You need money for that, right? So initially, when the hotels pays not as good as maybe an IT company or maybe another product related company, you shouldn't lose hope, because it's a people industry. You're right. So and one has to be patient enough. Let me be very clear that once you grow, once you accept this as a lifestyle, trust me, the pay grades are great, the benefits are great, and the kind of recognition what you as a professional will get, that you cannot match. No other industry can match. Okay, so you as a hotelier, you become, and I can tell you, as running hotels for quite some time now, it depends city to city for sure. But I think when you are a general manager or when you are a leadership committee member of any hotel, you become very important. You become very important to the people around where you're operating, to the people in the city you're operating the hotel in. So the kind of recognition you get, the kind of connects you get, you cannot expect that in any other industry. And of course, it comes with a lot of benefits in terms of compensation as well. But as I said, my only advice to all the young entrants would be to take this as a lifestyle choice and be patient. Don't run. Success will follow. That I can guarantee you.
I think by that, everyone here, including me, is very motivated, sir. And thank you for sharing that line specifically about success. Okay, so I think we had our talk, and let's dive into the topic that everyone here is waiting for.
Sure.
Right? We shall start with customer excellence. So, Harkaran Singh, sir, if you can explain what customer excellence means and what it is basically to everyone. Yeah.
I would definitely explain, but I would ask you a question on that. What would you mean by customer service? And I'm sure you at any time would have experienced customer service, right? So let me start the conversation by asking you a question. Have you ever faced a customer service which has not been pleasant?
Of course, I does. I take care of operations here, and I actually face a lot of different things every day. One unpleasant situation, if I have to talk about, this is a very unexpected question, let me tell you. But I think when I talk to organizations specifically, right, there are some like I feel that people don't like to say no, so they sometimes they just avoid talking about that. Yeah, they leave you on the cliffhanger, right? And I think that is very difficult in that situation. So what I do is I try to address the elephant in the room, and I think this is the first step towards customer excellence: understanding that what problems they are facing and why they are not on board. And I think this is the first step I take, and this is the kind of situation I face basically.
No, fantastic. I think that's great insight. But my question probably would be a little more clearer when I ask you to share your personal experience. I mean, you would have faced customer service with maybe a Vodafone or a Airtel. Let me not.
Right.
So just share a small insight with us in this forum. What is a bad customer service or unpleasant customer service or a situation that you faced with any of the service providers? You need not name the brand, but you just say that, okay, so and so you faced. And then we can talk more about it.
Right. So let's talk about hotel only, right?
Okay.
And I will not take any names here. So I was visiting with my family on a vacation, right? I was in Tripura. If it's a Seven Sisters, one of the states in Seven Sisters, right? And my experience was not pleasant. Why? Because the staff were a little ignorant, I would say. They were not welcoming, which is I felt, me and my family felt. And we asked them very nicely that this is what we feel. And after talking to them, I think the situation was managed by the manager well. So after talking to manager, the situation was handled. But before, it was not. The associate and the people taking care of us were a little hesitant. I don't know for what reason, right? But I think addressing the situation helped.
Sure. So you faced a situation where you were not welcomed. You felt that the people were ignorant, right?
Right.
That's because when hoteliers become transactional and they don't take customer service or don't realize the power of empathy. The power of empathy is putting yourself in the customer's shoes. The power of empathy is very, very important for us as hoteliers. So if you at the front desk, who's the receptionist or taking check-ins, do not realize or empathize with the guest, that the guest is coming after, let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say if a guest is traveling and he's due to check in the evening, right? And he's coming from Delhi. Let's say this is Bombay. There's a check-in in the evening from Bombay. We know that the guest is arriving in the morning at 9:30 from Delhi. Will go for his meetings and come back to the hotel for check-in in the evening at maybe 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Now at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, if the front desk associate is not empathetic, there are situations, we are hoteliers, we get into situations where the hotel becomes overbooked, right? We are in the business of making money. We are also at times stuck up with a lot of different segment of businesses like airlines, especially. So if there is a crew staying in the hotel and their checkout timings are not maybe not necessarily at 12 noon, can be at 6 o'clock in the evening or 5 o'clock. And if it's a sold out situation and if you have to turn around the room. So imagine that guest who came in the morning, took a flight from Delhi, landed into Mumbai, and now after his day's meetings are coming to the hotel to check in. And the front office associate is ignorant with that fact and becomes very transactional, saying, "Sir, I'm sorry, the hotel room is not yet ready because we just had a departure. So why don't you wait?" I, as a guest, will definitely get irritated because I feel the guy is only being transactional, right? I am a human ultimately. You have to empathize with me as a traveler that if I have taken a flight in the morning from Delhi, that means I would have woken up in the morning at 4 o'clock. I would have left my house at about 4:35 o'clock, went to the airport at 6 o'clock, boarded a flight at 7 a.m., landed at Mumbai at 9 a.m., headed to my office for meetings the entire day. So I am tired, I am irritated because I haven't got enough sleep, and I've had a very tiring day and beating the Mumbai traffic as well. So yes, on the contrary, when the hotel sold out, if the associate is empathetic about that, he could can you know he can handle the situation much better. If I'm the associate who empathizes with that kind of a guest, I would probably say, "Sir, I'm so sorry. I know you've had a very heavy day. I've had breakfast. I've got dinner ready for you because I'm sure you must be tired. Why don't you have dinner first? Or maybe I have a room which is in the spa if you want to wash and change, and then meanwhile I have your room ready. Do some small touches which doesn't really cost the hotel much, but empathize with the guest. That is what is all about customer service. Not being transactional, being empathetic, and putting yourself in the customer's shoes. That's where the customer service starts. So that's what I would probably say that's the basis of it. And then I think it's just developing and adding on to experiences and rather being transactional.
Couldn't agree more. 100%. Whatever what you said is 100% right, and being empathetic is important. Not in particularly in business, but everywhere, wherever you work, it's a important life skill. Definitely, absolutely. Um, would love to hear some of your experiences.
My
About
experiences.
customer customer excellence, right?
Oh,
Being
sure.
inside the hotel and maybe as a guest also.
Sure, I would. Yeah. So not at the hotel. So I'll share an experience with that. So I was standing once at McDonald's years back, and I really loved what happened there. And I'll share the story with you all. I was standing in the queue, and I saw there's somebody else who was standing just in front of me, and we all were waiting for almost close to 10 to 12 minutes. By the time the gentleman who was in front of me, his turn came in. He took his order, and I think with his burger, he ordered a mix, a softie, the ice cream which McDonald's gives. As soon as he turned back after taking his food, a kid who was running around that alley, I think, came in between, and that gentleman, the softie fell from his hand. The gentleman again came back into the line and was waiting for his chance because he was carrying that softie for his kid, or maybe I'm not sure, his family. As soon as he reached the cashier's counter, the cashier went proactively, got a softie, and gave it on his own. Said, "Sir, this is from us. I know that was not your fault. Enjoy your meal." That is something, to me, a great customer service. If I would be that guest, I would ensure I would always patronize McDonald's. Small gesture, costed you nothing, understood, empathized, saw that it was not the guest's fault. So I think that was great customer service, which I saw. I remember when I was in Hyderabad, and I was a big fan of Subway that time. And I remember I used to go to Subway whenever I used to get time. And there were two Subways near my house. But I used to go to a Subway which was 5 kilometers away from my house. So one day my wife really got irritated and said, "Why are we going there? Why don't we go to a Subway which is nearby?" And I said, "You will see." We went there. As soon as we went there, everybody knew me, everybody greeted me, and everybody knew exactly what I want in my Subway, in my sandwich. Everybody knew I want tomatoes, everybody knew I want cabbage, lettuce, little bit of onions, whatever sauce I wanted, what kind of bread I need, toasted, everything. I didn't have to repeat myself. Why? Because in the other subways, I used to get irritated because I had to repeat myself again and again, and there was some mistake or something or the other. But these guys remembered my preferences. When you remember preferences for your guests, they become your repeat guests. And it's very important, again, when you record preferences, you have to interact. This is all a part of customer journey, all a part of customer service. So preferences hold a very, very important and pivotal part for a repeat business, or rather delighting a guest and becoming a loyalist to you. But preferences also have to be handled very, very carefully. I've had an instance where I remember there was a guest who was about to stay with us for almost a year. So my team in the hotel placed 2 pieces of green apple, which was a standard amenity in a room, for this guest. And we used to have a guest focus meeting every evening. And the day this guest checked in with long stay, we had the guest focus meeting the next day. And I was told by the housekeeping that the 3 apples we had placed, we didn't find not even one. So we assumed that the guest really likes apples. So from today onwards, we are placing 4 apples in his room. So we said, fair enough, it's a great observation. Every day we used to meet, and I think 2-3 times I heard the team saying that, sir, we've been placing 4 apples, but those 4 apples are also getting finished. So now we started placing 5 apples. So I said, that's fantastic, great observation. So after about 2 weeks of this guest stay, we decided to have a long stay cocktail, and we decided to invite the guest because he was staying with us for almost a year. And our chef, our director F&B, everybody was very excited to welcome this guest because they curated something with regards to apple as a theme for the evening for the guest, so that he could be delighted. So there was an apple themed pie, a quiche, apple themed cocktails, everything there to delight the guest. So the guest walks in. The entire leadership committee was there to welcome the guest and thank him for his business. And we just mentioned that, Mr. Smith, we loved having you here, and I hope you're having a comfortable stay. And our team realized that you love apples, so the team has taken the liberty of curating an apple theme evening for you. We hope you like it. You know what? He laughed and he said, you know what, Mr. Singh, I hate apples. I'm allergic to apples. Your team places apples, I pick it and throw it in the dustbin every day out of the hotel because I'm allergic to apples. So, again, when we talk about preferences, yes, it's good to have preferences, but the most important thing is to reassert them. Talk to your guests, interact with the guests, and then take preferences and record preferences. The biggest fuck up is when you presume. And presumption, sorry for my French, is the mother of all fuck ups. So instead of presuming, if the associate would have spoken to the guest, right? The associate did a great job by observing. But if the associate would have spoken to the guest the next day. So I believe you're fond of apples because I placed 4 apples yesterday and I didn't find them. Would you want me to place some more, or I just wanted to have a conversation? The guest would have explained, I don't like apples, right? So it's very important. Yes, we delight our guests in terms of customer service, but also to ensure we interact with our guests. We make it more interactive rather than just observing as well. So it's a whole cycle, it's a full cycle. So customer service is not only extending small gestures, but also ensuring that you empathize, you talk to the guests, have that interaction, and then extend and do whatever, ideate and extend service. Yeah.
Right. Very well said, sir. I think everyone here, including me, have a clear idea now what customer excellence is and how vital it is for everyone to ask, not to presume.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Right. My next question to you would follow the same. If somebody wants to excel in the realm of, say, customer excellence, right? How he or she or how one can do that?
Well, I think it's just to be understanding that not to be transactional, as I mentioned, and becoming. See, what is customer service? Customer service is basically more of having interaction and being a people's person, right? And more to do that, you have to be passionate about delivering customer delight, right? When you, I mean, you feel nice when you get appreciated, right? So I think it's like tasting blood. Once you get a nice appreciation, once you get a nice yes comment, you just want to get more and more. So it's all about that. It's all about understanding and realizing that you can also be a customer, and what would you like when you were a guest. So just understanding that and being passionate about your job. I don't think so there is any formula for customer service. It has to come from within. I don't see that, because if there is a formula, then it becomes more transactional.
Definitely. 100%, sir. I think this is it for customer excellence. We have wrapped everything. What is customer excellence, the importance, vitality, everything. So let's jump on to our next topic, revenue management. I think it's a very, not a complicated, but a very vast topic to cover in one session, in one go, right? So if you have to explain revenue management to a layman, in a layman language, to a very general public who have no idea about what revenue management is, how would you do that?
So definition of revenue management in hotels is basically picking up the right kind of demand with the right kind of price, with the right kind of length of stay restrictions. Everything is right in revenue management, right? Now, let me tell you one thing: revenue managers or people who are from revenue management field are now no magicians. They are they do data analysis to be able to pick up and optimize demand. There's enough and more demand for hotels, enough and more demand for airlines, right? Where did revenue management start from? I think airlines is the one who taught us as hoteliers to be a little more dynamic in our rates. Because if airlines can sell it, why not hotels? If you are traveling by airline, you would have bought a ticket for 5,000 rupees. I would have bought a ticket for 2,000 rupees for the same destination, and I'm sitting next to you, right? There's no difference. That clearly shows dynamism. So picking up the right kind of demand at the right kind of pricing with the right kind of placement of length of stay. So I think we as hoteliers have to realize revenue management is basically not only done on rooms. Revenue management has to be done and has to be taken in your mind, that has to be done and thought about for everything sellable in the hotel. Today, we think about or talk about and develop and deploy strategies over total hotel revenue, not only on rooms. So that's something which everybody needs to understand. When you take up and say yes to a business, if there is a business which is coming up with banquets, and if somebody is saying, hey, listen, you're asking for X rupees for rooms, I'm going to take 100 rooms. I will give you banquet business as well, but I will not give you X for your rooms. I might give you a little lesser, maybe a 10% lesser. So at the hotel, you as a management or you as a revenue manager have to realize what is the total hotel revenue which the hotel is earning, and then take an informed decision of picking up the business, saying yes to it, rather than being rigid about it. So it's a holistic view which you need to do and have for revenue management. So it's not, again, it's not a definition. It's basically analyzing through data. And data is very, very pivotal. It is like garbage in, garbage out. When you put garbage in into your systems, you will get garbage outputs out. So you cannot, blame your softwares or systems that, hey, listen, the software is not giving me a right recommendation, because probably we as hoteliers are not feeding it well. So if you are feeding in the right kind of data into your systems, I'm sure your systems will give you the right kind of optimal data to be able to action and take decisions accordingly.
Right. I think now in the era of digital everything, digital marketing and everything, I think you saying how putting in right data would help.
Yes.
Understandable, definitely. A lot of people see their career in revenue management, and a lot of people want to start their career in revenue management, right? Harkaran, how can one do that? Where to start? how to make a career in revenue management, basically?
So see, I'll tell you what. Again, you can start in a hotel from being a revenue analyst. What I said is you have to be ready to analyze data. You have to be ready and be liking to read data. When I say data, you have to read data. You will not get Bible to read when you join a hotel. You will get a set. So it's very important for a hotel to position themselves well and understand what is their hotel positioning. What is the real competition set? If you understand your real competition set and the real market you operate in, one has to understand what kind of price to deploy for your asset to sell, your rooms to sell, your banquets to sell, or food to sell. So you have to analyze what is the demand which is coming to that market, what is the competition in that market, and what is the customer ready to pay. Once that analysis is done, that's the time when you deploy pricing. Now, when you join, to answer your question, what should the young entrants do? I think, as I said, be ready to analyze data. Revenue managers and revenue professionals are not magicians. Let me be very clear. And I think I've faced this earlier during my revenue management days, because I remember when I became the revenue manager for the first time, the owner of the hotel was expecting me to increase the ADR overnight, average rate overnight, increase the revenue overnight. And that's not possible, right? It's basically reading data, deploying the right kind of strategies, rate strategies, and optimizing demand, optimizing the space, optimizing. I mean, today you deploy rates which are one-nighters. You can also deploy and start using day-use rooms to be able to bump up your ADR. There are a lot of other things you have to change. I mean, depending on the demand, you might change. We at our hotel, we change rates almost 3 times in a day. Maybe sometimes 4 times in a day, depending on the demand, because it's very volatile. It's very buoyant. The market is very, very buoyant. So again, depends, understanding what is the booking pattern, then deploying the pricing. Similar to an airline, right? An airline, when you book now, 3 months prior to your plan, you will find rates to be much reasonable compared to closer to your date of arrival, where the prices really shoot up, right? So you have to realize that. So when a new young entrant comes into revenue management, I think the easiest is, yes, you have to be focused and be ready to deal with or read data. But at the same time, my recommendation also, in addition to would be to understand operations. At times people just want to straight away start into revenue management, which is no harm. Yes, you start with a revenue analyst or a revenue executive, whatever the nomenclature is. But I think it's very important on the contrary, to understand hotel as a business. Revenue management professionals, whoever wants to really start and rather not get into front office or housekeeping or any of the operations department and wants to start through revenue management, I would recommend should also get a full know-how of the hotel operation, because that will give a more clearer mindset to the person or the revenue analyst to deploy certain pricing, because you will know your product much better, right? So yeah, that's what my recommendation would be. But yes, again, to answer your question, it's very important that the people should be ready to understand data, read data, and analyze trends. Understanding trends is something which is very important. See, to be able to deploy pricing, you need 3 things. You need the recent past 3 months trends, you need the business on books, and you need the same data last year, same period. What did and how did your hotel do, or how did the market do? When you analyze these 3 things together in a totality, that's the time you will understand and build a trend for your hotel in terms of pricing. Yeah.
Yeah, right. What are some trends that are going in the industry currently?
What do you mean by trends?
Trends in revenue management.
Well,
You're talking about, right.
Yeah, so trends is again being very, very dynamic in pricing. I mean, you would see a hotel being priced at X amount in the morning when you wake up and see. By the noon time, it may be X plus 2. By evening, it may be X minus 1. It completely depends on the hotel pickup demand and pace for the day. So those are the trends which are increasing. I can see that trend also increase, and we as hotels, we encourage dynamic pricing with our corporates also. There are 2 kinds of pricing. One is the retail pricing, which is online. The other is corporate pricing when you do a year-long contract. Those are also important. But I think these days corporates are also being very smart and we also love being adherent to that, is they like to be contracting the hotel with a percentage of the best available rate, which is online. So if today I'm selling my hotel at 20,000 rupees, and if you as a corporate want to book and you've negotiated with me at a 10% off the best available rate, your pricing today will be 20,000 minus 10%. Tomorrow, if I'm pricing my product at 10,000 rupees, your pricing would be 10,000 minus 10%. So you are also gaining, I'm also gaining. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Harkaran, let's say a candidate is coming to you and you have to interview that candidate, right? And he or she is coming for the role of, say, revenue management or customer excellence.
Sure.
What are the questions that you are going to ask to determine whether that person is suitable or smart enough for the role? So customer excellence and revenue management, both separately.
Both separately. So I think I'm a hotelier and I would consider both to be hoteliers. So my question is going to be very straight, which I started my conversation. Are you ready to accept hotels as a lifestyle rather than a career? So that's very important, and I think I'm very clear when I speak to all my colleagues and young entrants whenever I take interviews. I make it very clear. I think we need to understand that, as I mentioned, it is those special moments, the birthdays, the anniversaries, the Diwalis of the world, the New Year's. That's the time when we as hoteliers would be working, where other people would be celebrating. If you are ready for that, then I think the doors are opened. So that's something which that be first. Second, and the most important rather for me, is embracing change. I would definitely want and need people, or rather my personal requirement when I interview people is that they have to embrace change. That is the only constant, and they have to ready to change. They have to ready to keep moving around, learning new things. So if you're ready to do that, you are an exact yes for me, and work along with me with my team. So yes, your professional qualifications do matter. Your experience does matter. But I think this is something which is very important. I'm fine with not hiring somebody from a hotel school, but somebody who has the passion to deal with people, somebody who's a people's man, somebody who's passionate about people's industry, and somebody who embraces change. That person can be from any industry. We are more than happy as a company to mold them as hoteliers, because I'm sure, see, the procedures, we always can teach them, but the friendly personality, the thing and the mindset to accept and embrace change, that's something which has to come naturally. If that is there with that candidate naturally, you are an immediate hire with us, especially with me.
Great. I think everyone is here busy taking the notes that you're saying.
Okay, good.
Right. Yes. So these were my questions. One more question. This is my personal question, right? Eager to know, what is the thing that you love about, say, revenue management or customer excellence, and what is one challenge that you still face in this role today?
So revenue management, what I love is that I think we can price and reprice our asset, and that's very important. Because I think being dynamic and getting the power to reprice something is something which I personally like. I don't like to sell a product which is pre-priced. So I think repricing based on demand and then yielding. I mean, we have a base category room where our normal rate is about 15,000, but during sold out dates and very heavy demand dates, that small room we've sold it 50,000 rupees as well. So that's the power of revenue management, right? That's something which I like. I think customer service is, again, what I like about is making a difference in people's life, because I'm a people's person. So I love creating, along with my team, experiences for our guests and our colleagues for sure. And I think that energizes me when I see our guests going happy and giving a great testimony for my colleagues and the service they experience, and remember us for that. So I think that's something which personally energizes me. So that's what I like. What challenges I feel, I think, and I think, which I which I hope I could change, and I hope I can change is uh, in the mindset of people in the world of customer service, or maybe even revenue management, or rather being in the world of hoteling, is the acceptance of certain processes by customers. I get so upset when I see a guest getting upset with my colleagues at the front desk and shouting and saying, I will not give you my credit card. Why should I give you my credit card details? Why would you need a deposit? Don't you trust me? I will pay when I leave. I mean, where in the world do you walk into any store and you just ask for a credit? Nobody gives you a credit. You are staying in a hotel for a night, right? So we as a hotel have to secure the payment. Why do people take it personally? That is something which I don't like, and that is a challenge which I maybe a lot of hoteliers face, and that's something which upsets me as a hotel professional. That why can we not respect hoteliers as professionals doing their job? They are not asking for payment just for fancy sakes. It's something which is a process of the hotel to secure the money, because we are dealing, we are looking after somebody else's asset, right? And I think that's what people need to understand and realize. And I think if I answer your question well, that's what is the challenge, which I probably would call it a challenge.
Definitely. And I believe that a change starts with us. And if we start treating everyone equally with respect and dignity, I think the world would be a better place. And the change that you want to see, that will also happen soon.
Absolutely. I'm sure. Yes.
Right. So we are almost there at the end of the session. One more last question I want to ask before ending this session. So my last question would be, if there would be one piece of advice that you have to give to, say, young Harkaran, right? Young Harkaran who's starting his career, right? What a piece of advice that would be?
I think patience is the key to being a hotelier. Uh, it's very important to know that. Embracing change, as I said, when I hire, that's something which is the priority for me when I hire and meet various people and various colleagues. So I think my advice would only be to embrace change, be patient, success will follow, be passionate about hoteliering, be focused about what you are, see, enjoy what you do. If you enjoy hoteliering, if you are passionate about what you do and accept this as a lifestyle, I guarantee you success will come. I guarantee you, and I vouch for it. Success can come a little later, success can come a little earlier, but it is a guaranteed success in a hotel. And when you are there as a manager, as a director, as a general manager, it's a different kind of a high, because you feel that sense of accomplishment, right? And I think the biggest role of a leader is to make others leaders and empower others. And that's what I personally do being a leader. I empower my other colleagues to be better and be better leaders. And that's what personally help. I mean, if I what gives me happiness is to see my team, my colleagues grow. Yeah. So my recommendation and my suggestion would only be just to be passionate about hoteling. Take hoteling as a lifestyle choice, not a career choice, and embrace change. Rest will follow in place, and be patient, guys. That's about it.
Definitely. Lovely, lovely. I would just like to add here that my key takeaway from here would be, what I learned would be, do your job religiously, dedicatedly, and success, and whatever you think will follow, definitely follow.
Enjoy your job. Just enjoy what you do. That's
Right,
it.
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, it was great. It was great speaking with you, Harkaran, and I think everyone here enjoyed it. If anyone has any questions, we have like 2 more minutes. If anyone has any questions, would love to take them. Um, any, hello? Yes, people who are raising their hands, you can speak. Unmute your mic and
Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, sir. So
Good
my
evening.
question would be, as you said, the revenue management is not about any stream; it is more about a lifestyle, right? So, like if I'm a person who likes to go into the stream as in lifestyle, thinking down the 10-year line, 15-year line, to be patient. So, from where to start? That's the question.
Okay, so revenue management is not a lifestyle. Hotelering is a lifestyle, which I mentioned. Revenue management is a department, what you choose to grow yourself. Okay, so when you start, you can start definitely into reservations. I would say if you want to build yourself and grow yourself in revenue management, you should start yourself in front office and primarily reservations, where you understand the systems well. When you understand the systems well, when you see the bookings coming in, you would start getting the hang of the booking pace, and that's the time when you slowly will develop further into being a revenue management professional. So I think being being passionate about your job and taking hoteling as a lifestyle will be the first starting point. And if you want to make a career in revenue management, opt for front office and reservations, and I think move your way up from there. You can start your journey with sales as well, but I would personally recommend you should start with reservations, which is in front office operations, so that you have a better understanding of the job, of the booking pace and the software.
So, sir, in the given situation, as for the revenue management, in recent one of the case study when the World Cup was there, so in Ahmedabad, the price of the rooms shooted up till 1.5 lakhs a night, right?
Correct.
So that was a very eagerly chance for the hoteliers to dynamic price them and cover up their profits. But now the
Sure.
question is like, what should be the bar in such a situation? Let's say again, one more situation is arising, and you being a revenue manager there. So what should be the bar? Ki, okay, this is the price I will quote because so much demand is there, and we have the less supply of the rooms.
Well, good question. I think it's again first understanding. You can't be see in a city sold out situation or a city event date. Every hotel, everybody optimizes, everybody increases their price. As I said, the the formula of a revenue management is higher the price, higher the demand, higher the price, lower the demand, lower the price. That is the base formula for pricing your product. When there is a demand which is high, when you see it's a city wide event, you price yourself high, but not so exorbitantly that you can price it at 5 lakh, 10 lakh as well, right? So you have to understand what the market is ready to pay. You have to analyze that. And that also comes, I think, these days, a lot of softwares, and we as a hotel also are developing a software in conjunction with our analytical partners, where we are going to be analyzing airline pricing very, very closely. So that gives you a great insight that what is the demand which is coming into that city that night or that day or that week, and how are the airlines pricing themselves. And then understand what is the real value of your asset and pricing and deploying the pricing accordingly. You definitely need to understand if you're operating in a market, what is your competition pricing, what is your competition offering, and how have you positioned your product. If you are a if you're a star hotel, if you're a hotel which has X number of rooms with X category of rooms, is it a leisure hotel? Is it a business hotel? What kind of facilities do you offer to your guests? What kind of positioning have you done for your hotel? That all plays a very pivotal part. And as I said, understanding the demand which is coming into your city, understanding what your competition's pricing, and what is the customer who's ready to pay. You can't be exorbitant in pricing a 5 lakh or a 6 lakh or a 10 lakh for a small room. Yes, we've been charging, as I just mentioned as an example during my conversation, at Bombay, for a base category room, our average pricing hovers between 14 to 15,000 rupees. But during sold out days, we've even sold that room for 35,000 or a 50,000. So it's very, very volatile. It's very dynamic. It completely depends and understands. We have to understand how much is the customer willing to pay. If I would have priced that room at a 2 lakh rupees a night, I'm fleecing a customer, right? So it's very important and all this insight will be given to you by data, by reading data. You have various analytical reports apart from the hotel reports. You have the Smith Travel report, STR report, you've got the Star reports, you've got a lot of demand reports, which all hoteliers, a lot of hotels, branded hotels subscribe for. You have all that. You have hotel agents which is a travel click report. So when you analyze all of that, see the demand, see what the pricing is all about, and then you make a optimal pricing for your product.
Got it, sir.
Excellent.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
sir.
so much for your questions. Thank you so much for your questions. I think we have come to an end of the session, and I would really like to thank Mr. Harkaran for taking the time out and sharing his experiences and every valuable thing that he said today with all of us.
Which is fine.
Along with you, I would also like to thank each and every one of you who joined us, took their time, and be here with us for 1 hour, more than 1 hour now.
No problem. I think there's somebody else who's raised their hand. If you want to ask, go
Yes.
ahead, no problem.
Is there anyone else who would like to ask something? Yeah, Krishna Kant is there.
Good evening, sir.
We can't hear you, Krishnakant.
Hello?
Good evening, sir.
We can't hear you.
You're not audible.
Not audible. Okay.
You may type also if you want, or
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I have a question. So I wanted to make my career in human resource department.
Sure.
So is it possible that without fluent English, I can make my career in that department?
Why not? Absolutely, Krishnakant, you can. You have to keep learning as you progress in life, and I think yes, English is very important as well because that's something which is the medium of communication with most of our guests front facing. But when you come into the heart of the house, which is the HR department, you are more dealing with people who are joining the hotel, and there are various I would say cadres of people, colleagues who join the hotel. There's somebody who's at the entry level, somebody who's at the managerial level. Similarly, you have various designations and various cadres in the human resources department as well. So if you want to start your career, for sure, no problem. English is definitely better if you learn it over the time because it becomes it's a universal language, Krishnakant, right? So when you have to grow further in life, you have to change a company, you want to go out of India, you want to go. So English becomes a universal language. So my recommendation would be work on your English. But to answer your question, it is not something that you will not get a job without knowing English. So please go ahead and apply. I'm sure you could start, but don't stop developing yourself. Keep investing in yourself.
Okay, sir.
Excellent.
Thank
All the best.
lovely, lovely. Everyone here takes, I think, again, taking the notes and learning.
Sure.
Yes, I think anyone has any more questions, guys? He's saying thank you, sir. Krishna Kant, thank you.
Pleasure, Krishnakant. All the best.
Okay. Yeah, so we are officially done with the session. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you taking the time out and
Pleasure.
instilling some great knowledge with us. Thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you. All the best to everyone who was on the call. And I'm sure if you all are in the hotel line, we will work together very soon. All the best to you. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Anisha.
Have a
Thank
great evening.
Thank you. Have a nice evening, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.